Hi guys, and welcome to another one of my reviews for Optics Warehouse. And today I'm going to be talking about the Athlon Argos 10 to 40 B56 Generation 2 benchrest scope. So before we get into the detail, let's do the walk around. As you can see from the walk around, this is a fine looking scope, but let's delve further into the detail in the specifications. We start off with a 56mm objective lens at the front. The scope also comes with lens caps, not shown here. As we move further back down the scope, we come to the 30mm tube. The scope is finished very well in a satin black, and it's clearly going to be durable. Now we get to the turrets. The turrets here are very textured, and you're going to have no problems gripping them in all weather conditions. When you rotate them, they give a loud audible click, and there's also a very firm feeling and thud that you've moved to the next increment on the scope, so you'll always know where you're at when you're adjusting the scope without looking at it. You'll be able to count the clicks as easy as pie. Now if we move to the side here, there is the parallax adjuster, and that parallaxes all the way down to 10 meters, which comes in really handy for those back garden plinkers, or if you want to practice on a shorter than normal range, say an NRSA range, which would be 20 meters. Now, we'll get onto the reticle. The reticle is one of the special things about this scope. It's purely designed for benchrest, and it has a centre dot. The centre dot fits perfectly inside the bull of a 25 meters World Rules benchrest target when you're shooting. Also, I think a floating dot are more used to the indoor benchrest shooter, because you can really place them to a high level of accuracy inside the bull with little distraction from crosshairs. This allows you to shoot within the clicks of your scope and give those fine nuances that would be able to get you those extra X's. But saying that, outside, this scope performs perfectly. I found it to be a very clear reticle and very easy to use on 25 meter benchrest targets. What I will say is that I did find that the reticle is very fine and it is perfect for benchrest, but if people are looking for a more general scope, it could be a little fine for some people, and also if you weren't aiming at the white or buff background of a benchrest target, you could lose the reticle a little bit in the busy background. So here, moving on, we have the magnification adjustment ring, and that goes all the way from 10 times magnification all the way through to 40 times magnification. It's very smooth, it's precise, it's everything you really need in a magnification adjuster. Moving back to the eyepiece here, this too is very easy to adjust, and it enables you to get that precise focus on the reticle to help you search for those elusive X's. At this point in my videos, I usually ask the question, how good is the scope at tracking? And what I try to do is replicate a real world scenario of where you would be using the scope and you want to return back to its original zero. So the logic behind my tracking tests is I try to do a real world scenario, and I don't push the scope to its extreme capabilities. I've already set the scope up, and in column 1 I do a marker shot. Then column 2 I do 15 clicks up, 15 clicks back down and fire. In column 3 I do 15 clicks down and 15 clicks back up and fire. And I do the same with left and right. Before I move on to the next line, I do not touch the scope at all. And I continue doing this test a further 4 times. So I do this test 5 times in all. What I will say is this actually makes sure that there's no progressive deterioration and the aim point is slowly moving away the more you use the clicks on the scope. And as you can see here, it's absolutely fine, this scope. It returned to where it should every time. Now what I will say is the reticle was superb. It made life very easy for me to aim and try and get those extra X and nuance every shot within the bull. This scope is a very capable scope, and yes, you could win events with this scope. As you can see, there's no problem with the tracking on this scope. It did very well considering the weather conditions, and yes, I will say this scope will track. So we know the scope tracks. Will it bench? Yes, the scope will bench. It's got a beautiful reticle, it's purely made for bench rest shooting, and it's fit for the purpose. And as you can see, I found no problems with the accuracy of this scope when fitted to my Tangerine Dream Anschutz 9015. So let's talk about the positives. First of all, this is a capable bench rest scope. It is used by a number of bench rest UK tour regulars. It also has a really good custom bench rest reticle, as well as this adjustable magnification lever here. Now, why do we want adjustable magnification? Most bench rest scopes are fixed magnification. Well, there are some niche bench rest events, such as a sporter class, where you're only allowed to shoot using lower magnifications. So if you're one of these guys, you would be able to shoot this scope in both classes. And finally, the scope does parallax all the way down to 10 yards, 10 metres, which will enable you to practice in your back garden or on those shorter NRSA ranges. There are a couple of considerations with the scope. First of all, it comes in at 31 ounces, so you might have to watch your weight when you're building that light varmint class bench rest rifle. Also, I found the scope performed better around the 35-36 magnification, and that's no hardship because most shooters on the Benchrest UK Tour probably shoot a 36 magnification, fixed magnification Benchrest scope. Anyway, I did find when you pushed it up to 40 magnifications, you were probably overloading the optics just slightly. My final thoughts on this scope are, yes, I've really enjoyed my time using it. I really enjoyed that custom Benchrest reticle, allowing you to really place your shots to a very fine margin of accuracy. I will say, at 40 mag, it might not be the sharpest glass out there, but for the price, this scope is a contender, and there are people doing very well with this scope on the Benchrest UK Tour. Until next time, guys, remember, keep living that airgun dream. Take care. Bye bye.